Hello everyone, in this video I'll be explaining how to complete the Using Ngrams to Interpret Gender exercise. So these are the libraries that we'll need to import to complete this assignment. And this is the CD statement you've seen before that we'll use to navigate through M2 into the folder that Dr. Goldie has created and put the datasets that we'll use in. So this is very similar to the code you've seen before to read in the Jane Austen novels. The thing I changed is I added dot lower to the end of each of these lines to make sure it stays all lowercase in the code that we're running. And then here we're going to grab all bigrams from these data sets because we only care about bigrams. We don't care about trigrams or any larger type of n-gram. And then we're adding them to this list called all bigrams. And then here's a sample of the first few bigrams that I found. So here we're going to create a list of our clean bigrams where we're removing stop words since we don't want those in there. And here's a list of the top most used bigrams with no stop words. And then the last thing you need to do before we can start the assignment is you need to CD into a folder that you've created where you want to output the graphs. This is just what I called the folder where I'm making the notebooks for these videos, but yours will probably just be digital-history. But you can make it whatever you want. And then it should look something like this if it was successful in finding the folder you created. So first, we're going to compare the words he and she. So this here, you don't necessarily need to understand what this means, but basically what it's doing is it's looking for the word he in a string. And here we're going to create a list for our he bigrams. I'm going to search through our clean bigrams list. And if it found this pattern, which means it found the word he in the bigram, and then it'll add that to our he bigrams. And then we'll use series of value counts to get the how many times each he bigram appeared. And we'll take the top 55 of those. And here's the first few. And now we're going to make a bar plot to show this. So these are the most used he bigrams in the Jane Austen novels. Now we're going to do the exact same thing, except instead of he, we're going to use she. And seeing this code is the same as before, we'll search it and search for the pattern in every bigram. And if it contains the word she, we'll add it to she bigrams and use series value counts to get the top 55 most used she bigrams. And then this is the resulting bar plot. So next we're going to compare his and her, where her is working as a possessive. So first we'll use the same form here where we'll replace he or she with his. We'll do the same thing we did before, except this time we're going to be splitting the bigram instead of just reading the bigram. So now we can search each word separately. And here, instead of just putting bigram there, we're going to do our new bigram 2, which is the split, and then sub-0 here, which means to search the first word because we're using his and her in the possessive sense. We want to only search the first word of the bigram. Other than that, this is the same code as before, and we'll use series value counts to get the top 55 most used. And these are some of the top most used ones, and here's the resulting bar plot. And now we'll do the exact same thing we did with his on her. And then here are some of the top results. And here's the resulting bar plot. And lastly, we're going to compare him and her as direct objects. This is going to look very similar to the possessive ones. We're going to have him here as our pattern. I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to split here. But instead of sub-0, we're going to do sub-1 because we want to check the second word in the bigram because that's where the direct object will be located. Then we'll do the exact same series value counts to get the most used him words as a direct object. And here's the resulting bar plot. And then lastly, we'll do her as a direct object, where we'll split it, do a search in bigram 2 sub-1, and do a series value counts. And then here's the resulting bar plot. And that is all of the code that you will need to complete the Using Ngrams to interpret gender exercise. I will let you write the paragraphs interpreting these graphs on your own. If you have any questions or need help completing this exercise, feel free to reach out to either myself or Dr. Goulding.